Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
All right, we ready? We have two today.
Okay.
First one.
Moving on.
Let's see our first one. What it is about.
An 11-year-old middle school student in Florida has been arrested and his picture made public.
What we're going to start doing Monday is, since parents, you don't want to raise your kids, I'm going to start raising them.
Authorities say they received reports from other students that 11-year-old Carlo Kingston Dorelli was showing off his collection of weapons and his list of targets. Just days before Dorelli's arrest, a SHOOT at Appalachian High School in Georgia killed 2 students and 2 teachers.
So far, 54 tips have come in through Fortify, Florida, talking about school shootings. All of them have been deemed bogus.
The boy was charged with making a written threat to commit a mass shooting, a felony. By threatening to SHOT at his school, the child told police it was a joke and that he never meant to hurt anyone. During a subsequent search of the boy's room, police found a large number of weapons. Officers also found a piece of paper in the room with several names written on it and stab wounds next to the names. Volusia County Sheriff Mike has vowed to hold accountable any child who shoots up a school with a false threat. Many on social media support the sheriff's actions. On the other side, many believe his parents should be prosecuted, and how could they allow an 11-year-old to possess so many weapons? Dorelli was taken into custody, and deputies filmed him being handcuffed. He then walked into the Volusia Family Resource Center to be processed and eventually sent to the Department of Juvenile Justice.
All righty then. So, thank you guys.
11 years old?
11 years old. 11. Did you
All
get
them weapons.
Did you see all of those weapons? 11-year-old can't, he had to get those weapons from somewhere and from somebody.
His house?
And let's talk about it. You know, there is a serious issue going on with guns and just so much hatred. I mean, it's really sad what's happening. So when I saw this story, I'm like, we got to put this up. We got to have a conversation about this because this stuff is real.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did see it, and I love what they're doing because we need to draw the line. We need to get back to that ideology that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
And maybe the people that are helping you aren't necessarily in your village, but it's going to take our judicial system to step in and to say, okay, this is where we're drawing the line. Yeah. And also hold parents accountable.
Yes.
That child is your responsibility.
Yes.
There is no way that child should have access to that.
To a gun, a knife, or anything.
Don't go to preach it,
It's really disturbing, and the child should be prosecuted, and the parents should be prosecuted. We need to show that we are not going to continue to allow this rhetoric to be present in our country.
That's right. Period.
He could have killed multiple people at that school.
That's right.
He had plan and he had intent, and he is dangerous, and he should be treated as such. It is antisocial, psychopathic behavior that needs to be tamed now, or this child grows up and he turns into a person like P. Diddy.
Or even worse.
Or worse. I love the way you said that. You have anything to add to that?
Just that in other countries, I just don't understand how. I think at this point, it's not a priority because this has been an ongoing thing. I mean, I remember Columbine in that's something that happened in the 90s. Like, this has been an ongoing thing in this country, and there are other countries where they address this stuff swiftly.
Yes.
They make laws quickly. They pass it immediately. And I think for this to be an ongoing thing, I think that ultimately it's not a priority.
It's not a priority because it's about money.
Right. It's not a priority.
It's about money. Let's just call it what it is. It's about money, and we really need to do better as a people.
Yeah.
And when I saw this, I was like, yes, I'm so happy that the sheriff said, okay, you're not going to hold them accountable. You're not going to be responsible. I'm going to do it. Yeah. I love it. So
I remember growing up as a young lad that I will almost cuss right there. A good whipping was effective.
Yes.
It worked. It got your attention. There was something that I don't want no more belts on my behind. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. And so now we putting Johnny in a corner or whatever. That's not working.
It's not working.
And it's probably hard to go back to putting a good whipping on a child because they're not accustomed to it. They have no respect for authority.
No fear of anything.
Fear. I mean, it's horrible. And so I'm always advocating for getting back to some of the basics.
Discipline.
Discipline.
Yes.
Discipline your children, man. And so that man won't have to discipline you.
Come on now.
Or your child.
Or your child.
Yeah.
Or your child.
Because if you don't do it, the world will. But the dynamics are off. The parents aren't the parents. The parents are the friends of the children.
Yes.
And so they're not parenting them from a different vantage point.
And they're afraid because they don't want to lose. They don't want their kids mad at them
They don't want to lose their friendship.
with their kids.
But now you got an 11-year-old with a mugshot.
With a mugshot. Really? Now, something wrong. We want to go to the next one?
Wow.
All righty then.
It's crazy.
It is.
It's
It's
crazy.
scary. It's scary.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice. Let me say a little bit more about the charges. The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
Whew.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
My God.
Oh, my.
You know, this has been going on for a while. And when I hear people act like they're so shocked, in my opinion, I think that there has been a very dark side to the entertainment.
Ben.
And but this with P. Diddy is sick. You know, it's sick. And for people to act like they didn't know, didn't speak up, wouldn't say anything. He had officials covering it up. Yeah. There is no way you can get away with all of this stuff that was going on and for years, and somebody didn't know. You know, just think about how many victims. Oh my God.
It's heartbreaking, honestly.
It's heartbreaking. So I know, y'all. Yeah, I'm looking at y'all.
I you know, I got a lot to say.
Come on.
Following the case.
I mean, it is heartbreaking. I think about the victims and the abuse that they've had to endure at the hands of
a monster.
Really, quintessential monster, predatory, cynical, demented behavior. I was looking at this from a more clinical perspective of what would a diagnosis be? And I came up with it's all in the same vein of like narcissistic it's a personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, but antisocial personality disorder. It's not what we classify someone as antisocial in society, where we're like, oh, they just don't engage in social activities. No, what it would be classified as is clinically is someone who is deceptive, someone who engages in criminal activity with no remorse or regard for victims. Someone who lies, and someone who is very much deceptive and shows immense aggression and anger towards other people. And they use that as a whole to get people to comply. And oftentimes this is first signs are shown in early adulthood, but it isn't diagnosed till 18. And most of the people classified in jail are seen as antisocial or having antisocial personality disorders. And so I really hope that he finds forgiveness. I hope his family forgives him. I hope the victims forgive, because forgiveness is for them and not him. But the things that he has done, it far exceeds what he even understands. And I can't begin to really understand the magnitude and the gravity of his actions. I see people all the time who one isolated traumatic incident has changed the course of their life forever.
Right,
he will never understand the ramifications of his actions. And this goes back to him being on this hill all these years.
There you go.
Pride comes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. He thought that he was untouchable.
Yes. And that's what Satan will do. He'll pop you up.
And now Satan ain't nowhere to be found.
Ain't nowhere to be found. Ain't gonna save it. Can't do nothing. Can't change it because he set you up.
And that judge is not playing with him. That judge is not playing with him.
Yeah.
He will not see the day of light.
I was shocked when he said not guilty. I was like, what? What?
Okay, one last thing.
Okay.
And he was using those tapes to blackmail other people.
Yeah.
But now the very thing that you use to blackmail other people show you in criminal act.
Yes. That part right there. Yes.
The sad part is there's a lot of people finna go down behind this.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because right now he's on suicide watch, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
But
Well, no, it ain't alleged. They said it.
yeah. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, I've said it. Yeah, there you go. I know that's right.
Hey, wouldn't you be on suicide watch if you had all these counts going against you?
I'm kind of looking at it the same as the whole Jeffrey
all of this
Epstein.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm looking at it like the Jeffrey Epstein case. It's not. I mean, and
I
I'm
see what
sure
you're saying.
he probably is feeling away, but he's one person.
Yes,
in this whole thing, and he's been a very powerful player on a large chessboard. But he is definitely connected to a lot of other people that were complicit in these crimes. A lot of people are victims, but there are also a lot of people that participated in this.
Exactly.
And so when I hear that he's on suicide watch, I'm thinking about the whole Jeffrey Epstein, where a lot of people have a lot to lose if he does crack and start to confess. And even just throughout the course of the investigation and the trials, when, some of this evidence comes out, there's already been talks of things that involve a lot of other very powerful people. So, I mean, I think
there's a way for the powerful to disappear.
Yeah. So that way, all of the secrets never come out. But I do want to add this, and I know this seems like out of left field. This really makes me think about like sexual deviance and pornography, and how we even the soft porn that we see on social media, and we really don't think about the consequences of stuff like that. And not to say that people don't have these things and desires in them, but pornography is something that kind of perpetuates that. And if there aren't people that are viewing it, then they have no market to sell to. But people continue to consume it.
So they
and that's why you get, because a lot of these stuff, also allegedly, some of these videos of these high profile people have been sold on the dark web for like large amounts of money.
Yes.
So I think it's a call, and it's for us to all take a look at our own hearts and what are those things that have a hook on us, because this is something that grew over time. And it just so happens that he was put in a position of power that allowed him to get away with it and hurt other people for a long time. But where it really started, and I don't know his full story, not having control of your sexual desires. And now you add power to that, you add money to that, you add fame and notoriety and all of these things, and now we have created a monster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, real good.
Yeah.
Real
Demon
good.
monster.
But you say we.
We. Because we bought into
we prop these people up based on what they accomplish in their careers and not based on their character. We do that. We overlook, just like, and
come on, say it.
R. Kelly.
If you hit her, a lot of people are still saying, well, I'm still listening to R. Kelly. And
he peed on a kid.
Yes.
That there's people now that are saying like, they just always want to pin it on a black man. If you think like that, shame on you.
I agree. You're a part of the problem.
You're a part of the problem.
Exactly.
Yes, it has nothing to do with the color.
Did
false
this
idols.
stuff.
Yes.
Whether it's other people that are white that are doing it as well, they need to have their day as well. But this man harmed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Ooh,
y'all watched him drag that young lady by her hair, knock her down, drag her by her hair. She 100 pounds soaking wet,
and then you got nerve enough to say she's trying to extort money from Yes.
As you guys can see, the panel is very passionate about this.
what
It's not right. Yes.
Because this is just the beginning of the exposure of Hollywood and the wickedness.
And I pray that they're not able to get up. I pray they're not able to get out of it. Every person that is connected and that played a part in it, I pray that they're exposed. And of course, I pray God have mercy on your souls. But there is also a day that comes, because people always
reckoning.
There comes a day when it's time for you to pay up.
Bring them down.
And that day is going to face us all.
Exactly.
And I hope it's on this side
and not that side.
And not when I get may he ask the Lord to forgive him.
Yes.
Something we don't always think about though. Like, I'll say this: one of my favorite things about God is, like, not only does his character not change, but he is a just and righteous God, right?
Right.
And I'm sitting here hearing this conversation. I'm reminded of that one verse that says, "Justice is mine; I will repay," says the Lord.
Okay, then, and he will.
My Bible say vengeance. But
vengeance. Yep. But
You like the way you like yours better.
Vengeance is mine,
said the Lord.
and even then too, there's so many comments on that.
Yes.
There's a lot.
I
Everybody
think
likes
on
their
this
king
one
in the
here,
street.
let's go ahead and take some of the comments because this is actually was good conversation.
this is very passionate conversation.
Monique on YouTube is talking about our first tea on the streets. She's saying first thing these parents need to do is stop trying to be their kid's friend and quit this gentle parenting crap.
Okay, then.
Terry said
We hadn't gotten into the cut the crap segment yet.
Not yet. Terry on YouTube is saying your kid's downfall is in your hands, guys. Soft parenting only gives them more chance to be disrespectful to others.
Yes.
Sandy said, I got shivers by thinking about those victims.
Yes.
She's talking about Diddy. Oh, yeah. Peter said, being narcissistic is not a disorder from my point of view. Stating this behavior by calling it a mental disorder, giving those people more advantage to behave like that. I don't know. ELTSW said, suicide watch is protocol for where he's being held according to national news. Okay. And Susan on Facebook is saying, these people are monsters. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. All righty then.
And one more from Kiva. He said, not being funny, I believe that it stems from his mom. You can look at past videos and see the behavior that him and his mom show within one another.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, there was a video. I think they were a little inappropriate as mothers. Well, they were. I think they were kissing or something like that, allegedly on a video. Yeah,
that's a little gross.
Is it allegedly or was it on
Well,
video?
everything. Here's my thing when I see certain things on TV. You don't know. You don't know if it's been doctored or something like that. So I'm going to say allegedly because I wasn't there. Yeah.
All right.